And welcome to a little lesson on the 10 frame basics. With the 10 frame, we're just obviously looking at two 5 frames stacked on top of each one another. And what we want to get the students to do is to be able to see 10 and use the referent 5 to help them build to the 10. So when we say something like 6, lots of students are going to want to start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But what we want to try to get them to do is when they say 6, we want them to see that it's a full 5 frame. And so they don't have to start over again starting at 1. They could say it's the 5 frame plus a 1. So that's what we want to start them to do, is to get the idea of filling up the 5 frame first, using 5 as your referent, so they can start doing that adding on kind of concept to find the numbers greater than 5 but less than 10. We could ask the child, what number is this? So they can say that it's 6, but do they want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or do they want to see that it's a 5 plus a 1 to get to the 6? We could also ask a question, is it greater than 5? And you can see that the 5 frame's already full, so it must be greater than 5 because we've already gone over the 5 frame. So we can use this as a bit of a start or an introduction to the rounding idea of why the 5 number is such an important concept for figuring out rounding. We can also use this to talk about our subtraction facts. So here we've got the number 6, but we could also say that it's 10 with 4 missing pieces. So we could take away 4 and still get to our 6. So we have a 5 plus 1. We also have a 10 minus 4 to get to our 6. You could also use a number such as 3 and have them recognize that it's less than 5 because it hasn't filled up the 5 frame. But you can also say that how much less than 10 is it? And they can see that it's 5 plus 2 less than 10. So in other words, it's 7 less than 10, or 10 subtract 7, or 10 minus 7, or 10 take away 7 would be able to give you the number 3. Just like in the mixed up numbers that we did with the 5 frame, we can do the same thing with the 10 frame. We can start off with a number 3 and then say to the students 5 and they have to figure out what they have to do to get to that number. So they'd have to add 2. Then you could call out the number 8 and they'd have to figure out what they'd have to do to get that, which would be add 3. Now some students are going to start all over again, take all the counters off and fill 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But what we're trying to get them to do is figure out, okay, we're at the 5. All we need to do now is add on 3. From here we could say the number 4 and see how they would handle that. Would they take away the numbers one at a time to get to 4? Or would they automatically figure out that they could just clear out the 5 frame? So now they're at 5, and then all they have to do now is take off 1 more to get to 4. So they can automatically clear to the 5 and then count back from there to get the number that's missing. So there's a couple different things we can do with the 10 frame, and there's just a brief introduction to some of the things we can do with the 10 frame.